as lawmakers, this is the message that I would encourage you to send to your lawmakers, especially the ones who claim the name of Christ. Will you be like Ahab, hating Micaiah because he speaks inconvenient truths to you? Listening to the other prophets because they tell you the things that you like to hear, the things that will continue to build you up and to give you power and influence among the Senate's chambers? Or will you be like Jehoshaphat, diligently seeking and heeding the ones who truly speak the will of God to you? That is up to you, to our lawmakers. I have three audiences here really this morning. One of those is, of course, our lawmakers and those who are even in the Senate chambers right now. We understand those things. Another audience that I have, though, is you who are standing here. Us as abolitionists. I've been preaching through the book of Jonah in my church services on Sunday mornings. And the book of Jonah, it begins with an incredible passage that we tend to forget about. We're so used to hearing about Jonah being thrown into the ocean, swallowed by the great fish, and then spat back up and moving on to Nineveh. But we forget about the sailors in the beginning of that book. These sailors who say in verse 5, the mariners were afraid when the storm comes upon the boat. They were afraid and each cried out to his God. They hurled the cargo that was in the ship into the sea and lightened it for them. But Jonah had gone down into the inner part of the ship and had lain down and was fast asleep. These sailors, these experienced seamen who were terribly afraid of the storm that had come upon them. And they cried out for salvation to their gods. Each cried out to their God. I believe Jim just listed a bunch of those gods for us. As we consider those sailors crying out, we need to recognize that the world really and truly does cry out for salvation. You may hear what you're hearing right now, and it's a hardened heart. And yet the world cries out for the salvation that comes from the Lord and the Lord alone. Christians, abolitionists, we have the message of salvation. We have the message of truth. We bear the words of God to a world that is desperate for it.